Well, people, first off, I'd like to apologise. I haven't been about for a few weeks. I have been unwell. It does happen to quite a few people. But I'm on my way back. I need to take it a bit easy. But we are on our way back. And if anything, it has actually helped me to reflect on what exactly is going on in Northern Ireland. I couldn't believe it when I was lying one day and Matt Baggett, our chief constable in charge of intelligence, come on and said he needed more police officers. Let's see, what, 20, 30, 40, 50? No, 1,000. Where did that come out of? You only have to look past this last few years about what we've been saying, about what's been going on, the experience being lost within the PSNA that was there from the RUC. They got rid of it. And got rid of very good police officers for no other reason than except that their name was once the RUC. Now Matt Baggett says he needs 1,000 policemen to help with the threat from the dissidents. Well, has anybody thought about how long it's going to train these men up? Has anybody thought about, have they got any experience? And unfortunately, it's areas like South Armagh, Tyrone and Fermanagh and parts of Londonderry and other areas that suffered in the past will suffer again because they haven't got the security forces to put into them areas. Nothing has changed. They don't seem to have learned one thing whatsoever. And if you can go back to 1969, what was the biggest problem in Northern Ireland? They hadn't enough policemen to deal with the scum who come out onto the streets to riot. Sooner or later, our people will waken up to what's going on. Everybody in this country wants to move on, and no more so than the victims. But we cannot move on while people are still holding threats over our heads. While people like Jerry Adams and Martin McGuinness are trying to portray themselves as some type of statesmen, when all they are is bloodthirsty killers. That's what they are. Nothing more, nothing less. Bloodthirsty killers who will not put their hands up to what they did in the past. And just on the Kingsmills issue, as the anniversary is coming up here again in January, I'd like to assure the people we are still working away flat out with the HET and with numerous other people gathering information on individuals who are involved in that. And I believe we have a case for a war tribunal. I still believe that. I've spoken to politicians, I've spoken to human rights activists. They believe the same. That incident, probably the only one of its type in Northern Ireland, because it was so brutal, was a war crime, and the men responsible for that needs to be brought to trial. There's no point in putting Martin McGuinness and Peter Robinson down into Belfast for £200 dinners to get their peace prizes, whenever one of them men still believe what he did was justified. They cannot and can never be allowed to justify the murder of innocent victims. And people seem to forget Martin McGuinness organisation killed 446 Roman Catholics. At the end of the day, Martin McGuinness, we showed a photograph of him firing a Luger pistol. Now, how more clear can you be than a man, an IRA man, known as the Bogside Butcher, with a handgun, firing it, and him being photographed, and I'm still waiting on the police coming back to me. This whole thing is an utter and total disgrace. We always have a choice. You always have a choice. You can lie down and crawl with the scum and the rats, or you can stand up and be counted. Thank God I work with a lot of people who stood up and are prepared to be counted. And no matter how many times they try, we ain't going anywhere. And if it's not the IRA or the dissidents or whatever is threatening us, it's funders trying to undermine us. They haven't caught on yet. The only reason we do what we do is because we believe in what we do. And all we want to do is get on with life. But we will not be dictated to or trodden on. And I think one of the things people need to realise, Willie Frazer is only a mouthpiece for a lot of things that need to be said. But the men who say them are the men that they need to worry about. The men that are talking to Willie Frazer are the men that Sinn Féin, and indeed any political party, when it comes to it, will have the problem with. It's not Willie Frazer, it's the people behind him. And I'm glad to say that, well, I get a few weeks over when we get back onto the straight and narrow here. We'll show these boys what it is actually like for they have to take on somebody who actually believes in what they stand for. But I just wanted to let you know that I haven't gone away. I know there's quite a few people were sort of hoping that they've seen the last of me. But there's quite a few people. The amount of support and phone calls and letters, and the hospital actually had to tell me to ask people to stop ringing in. So I had to put out a word for people not to be ringing into the hospital. Yeah, just to let you know, he ain't dead, far from dead, and just need a few weeks to get back on the feet. Whenever we do, we'll be back to where we were. And the one thing I'll finish with is the Crumlin Road jail has been done up, and well done up. And it's done up as a jail, part of it, and for tourists and all that there. So why on earth is our politicians backing conflict resolution centre at the maze whenever they know the only reason the maze is important to the IRA scum is because it's for them to tell the romantic story about the hunger strikers, not about the hundreds of people that are responsible for killing. They've got their conflict centre. It's on the Crumlin Road, and it's time our politicians wakened up to that fact. They don't need another one. It is time we got ours, and the money started to come equally to both sides of the community, not just to the Republicans, but to the Unionists, and let's try and get on with life in this country.